Hey, live. It's Smash One-on-One with the Gilliards. We had to do the video in the car today, and we are late, so y'all forgive us for our tardiness. But God had a lot of stuff going on, so we just stopped and go ahead and did the video. Today we're going to be talking about intimacy. Dealing with intimacy, a lot of times, your spouse just, the individual just think it's all of intimacy is just, the sex part, but it's more to it than just sex. So we're going to be talking about intimacy. So, what's your opinion on intimacy? All right. Well, she's trying to get there. I know for myself, I had to really learn what that is. I grew up where, as a teenager, I just, deal with different, girls and, I just, had sex and that was it. So it wasn't no, the intimacy part that I was thinking, like just, cuddling and, talking, conversating, and getting to know one another, spending time with one another. So, I was clueless about really what intimacy was. So I had to learn, as we progressed in our marriage, I learned what really what intimacy is. And what I need to do to satisfy that part of her. A lot of times, us males, we don't really too much care about the intimacy part. We just care about the sex and that part. So a lot of us, we've been brought up where we deal with this person, we deal with that person, or whatever the case may be, or it might just be one person, but it's just having sex. So there's no passion in it and none of that. So you really don't think about, okay, let me make sure that she's satisfied outside of the bedroom as well as inside the bedroom. So a lot of times we just think that it's wham bam, thinking, man, long as you feel like you satisfy her and that's it. Why you laugh? Because I say wham bam. Mm-hmm. So I had to learn really, the intimacy part, like just conversating with her, pillow talking, and not making everything surrounded around sex when it comes to our intimacy. So I had to learn that. So what you think on that?
Intimacy, just like as he said before, as far as knowing what to do like outside of the bedroom, because for a lot of women it takes time. It does take time, and like if we want the build up of every day, all day long or whatever else like that, not just, oh, I'm horny and here you go. Like, we don't like that. Sometimes we may want a little quickie, but intimacy is very important, because it's just like just basically letting your spouse know that I want you, I want to make sure that I please you in that way, and not just about just, oh, I just want to hit you like you some random or whatever. Yeah. So basically, like all day long, like send little love notes, send little texts or whatever else like that. If they go to work, send something out or whatever else like that. I don't recommend, if you want to send pictures, send your pictures or whatever. But if your kids nosy like to go through your phone like mine do, don't do that. But yeah, it's just basically, he did have to learn, because a lot of times he be like, oh, okay, I'm ready, and then expect me to be ready to go, but it don't work like that. And I don't think it works like that for men all the time. It's like we got to tune them up too, or whatever else like that.
I think the older the man get, the more he need that, that tuning up. But when you're young,
you already tuned up.
You be ready to go.
Your hormones just be ready to go.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just like you just have to like rub, know what their language is or whatever else like that. Like just different little things. like you rub on them, then you go and you flirt with them or whatever else like that, and it just it sets the atmosphere differently, because when you just sitting there and it's just like sex, it's just like I feel like another person on the street. That your female, the spouse could feel like just another person on the street or whatever else like that. And especially if this the person that, like, that person that had multiple partners before you, and it could really feel like that if they don't be careful with that.
So, men, I just want to kind of throw this at you. A lot of times you can't do your wife the same way you may have did females in the past, because a lot of times we are so used to just doing that, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And when we get married, we think it just, you know, you lay down, you get up, that's it, you know what I'm saying? But it got to be more to it than just doing that, because this is your wife. So she shouldn't feel like she just is a chick, you know what I mean? She got to feel like that's my wife, and you got to make sure that she's satisfied. This is keynote, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all wives are satisfied before you satisfied, because a lot of times we want to just get ours, and then they left unsatisfied. You don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that well, I guess that's on both parties. I ain't gonna say, but
you got to make sure that both parties are satisfied. Not just one.
Yeah,
it's not a one-sided thing.
So just don't. Okay, we done it. So I'm good. So you should be good. Or you know, some of us men, we, you know what I mean, we are boom, 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 boom. We done. And then she's looking like, oh, golly, you know what I'm saying? So, you definitely got to make sure that you, satisfy.
And women are very emotional.
Yeah.
Like, we are very emotional, and we want to feel like your emotions is in it, like you thought about it, and it wasn't just like, you know what?
I just want to get me.
I just want to get me, or whatever else like that. And at first it may feel like that in your marriage or whatever, and you may feel like, oh, it's okay, but then after a while it's like, okay, now you have to learn to incorporate that intimacy in it, and just, you know, being gentle with it or whatever.
Yeah. Janetta fool.
Yeah, Janetta got the dago sense.
But since she put it up there, it is my sister-in-law has a good product for you men that that'll help in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. So
it gives you a little long stamina.
So hit her up and try that peak. So but anyway, you gotta communicate that also, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just say, thinking in your head, oh, I'm not satisfied, and then you don't share that with your spouse.
Yeah.
So you definitely got to communicate about that part that's going on. I'm sorry, y'all. My eyes tear up, and it looks swell up a little bit. I think I got a sty or something going on. So just, you know, intimacy. Why you laughing?
I'm laughing at you.
Peak.
He didn't even say peak, he said peck.
Oh, peck.
Go ahead.
So just, you know, make sure that your wife is, you know what I mean, satisfied, and your husband is satisfied with intimacy. And it just takes more than just laying down and having sex to be intimate, because, you know, intimate is spending time together, getting to know one another. Because sometimes you could be married for a person for a long time, but you don't, there's no intimacy, there's no really communicating with each other and getting together, so you really don't know one another. So intimacy is broad.
Yeah.
So it's just not pertaining to sex. You know how some people say pillow talk. When you get, you know, you sit down and you talk, conversate, and you.
Well, pillow talk is different. Like, you could.
But that's still part of intimacy, though, right?
Well, yeah, it could be. I mean, like a massage and all that other stuff, like massage or whatever else like that.
Yeah.
That's like an intimate thing or whatever. Or just knowing that person's love language, basically. Also, like, sometimes, or just because that could be a part of intimacy and everything. So it's just like, just letting them know that you're thinking about them, basically, throughout the day, and not just for that moment. Because for one, women, we have our different times when, like, one person could be like, just it's their moment where they always want it, is that like they drive is really high at that moment, and then the other person is not, and then it's just like, okay, it makes that spouse feel rejected when their drive is really high, but your drive is not, and then it's like, well, what's wrong with me? So it does play a role in it, like with helping with that even more.
And especially when you got when it's two different ages, like maybe you might have a wife that's younger than you, and you kind of older. So men reach their sexual peak before women does. So we be done reach ours, and then we be going down the hill, and and the woman just getting up the hill. So you got to make sure that thing balance out. So a lot of times when you do marry somebody that's a different age, and you say maybe 10 years older than you, you got to know and expect that, okay, his sexual peak ain't gonna reach when mine reach. But I know one of the things that we do to kind of build up, a lot of times we'll just send, messages to each other saying, I love you. I'll send them GIFs, just stuff like that to kind of, just letting them know I'm thinking about her, or even if I'm, feeling a little frisky, I I message her just a little funny stuff so she can be, thinking about it while she at work or whatever. So when we do get home or whatever, and work up to it.
Yeah, it works up to it. Is Shayna putting up? Shayna, is you raising your hand? You got a question? So, but yeah, that could really cause problems too. When one partner's sex drive is at the high and the other one is at the low, that could cause problems at that time too, because it's just like you seeking. It's like you're not giving me attention in that way. So what's wrong with me? So when somebody else do come and see and be like, oh, give you that sexual attention or whatever else like that. Oh, hey. She said. Oh, she was saying hello. Oh. But she was just But yeah, so somebody else come and give you that type of attention or whatever, and then it's an opening because you're just what?
How you mean sexual attention?
Like flirtiness.
Oh.
Like anything else like that, and that's sexual attention. Well, that's what I mean, flirtiness or whatever. So it's like your body is desiring, or you are desiring something, but if your spouse is not giving it to you, but you're at your all-time high or whatever else like that, that could cause problems within that, because somebody else is giving you what you're kind of seeking as far as attention, as far as the flirtiness or whatever else like that. So that could be an opening, and that can cause a little bit of problems, but you have to really be strong, because I know at times when I guess when you at your high, but I'm not or whatever, I don't know if you have any type of temptations that come around you or whatever else like that, or
I just sit and be mad, to be honest. Amen. But for real, man, sometimes you be ready, boy, and they acting up, boy. You get a little attitude with them now. I ain't want to talk to them after that.
But it's like you're tired. Like, seriously, you are tired. And I understand that people be like, well, you're married now and you shouldn't withhold from your husband or whatever else like that. Dude, I'm human. I'm tired. I got 4 kids. I work, and then we got the stuff at the household. We steady on the go because we got 4 kids and activities and stuff. I feel like I got the right every now and again to say, hey, not tonight.
You know what I'm going to start doing, y'all? I'm going to pour water on them and wake them up. So
that ain't gonna work. That's all you gonna be. You're gonna be 2 mad people.
Yeah.
We just gonna be 2 mad people. That's it. But
yeah, right. But when you sit there mad, second, you be ready to be tuned up and everything. And they just they'll fall asleep on you and all that stuff, man.
Okay, Pierre, but what did you do that day? Have you been tuning it up? Have you been sitting certain things, or did you just feel like, oh yeah, tonight we just gonna get it and I'ma just touch him? What is it? Like, that's what I want to know. Because you can't just sit there and just think because, oh, you've been thinking about it all day that we thinking about, because we're not thinking about that all day.
But real talk, there'll be times when she'll be tuning me up, right? And she be that tuning me up, and we finally get the kids to go to bed.
It be too late.
And then she go to sleep. And I'm sitting there like, hey, boy, hey, Pierre, boy, I be sitting there mad, boy. I'm telling you. I be sitting there mad now. I be chilling now, and she tuned me up.
Listen.
And then she put the kids to sleep. Then I look over, she's sleeping. So
listen, when you get older, it's like, okay, that sleep be overriding everything.
Yeah.
Sleep override. I don't care what you feel like. When you tired, it's like, okay, let me just go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's just for me.
And y'all, this is just to kind of bring this up. When sometimes when you've been together for a long time, and sometimes you're so used to doing certain things, and you're like, God, it seems like it's getting stale. There's so much things that you can do to kind of keep things hype. A lot of times we role play. You know what I'm saying? There's different things out there that you can, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna keep promoting you, Janetta, but like the peak, and they got little different stuff like Viagra and stuff like that. I never used that, but they say it works. They say that Viagra works. So you got different things that, you know what I mean, the kind of, they even got things for females to kind of, help stimulate them and stuff like that. So when it seems like it's getting dull, start doing things to kind of hype it up. Because a lot of times when you do feel like it's like the relationship getting dull.
Laughing at Rika.
Oh, she said, yeah. So you got to do that, to keep that spark, to keep that thing spark. Because if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's gonna get dull. So you gotta do different things, to keep each other, I guess say hype or keep each other.
I don't know. It makes
whatever
sure
working.
it's not boring.
Yeah. I guess it's not to make it boring. So just do different things to hype it up. You know what I'm saying? So it won't get stalled. Now, some of us, when you just getting married, you in the honeymoon state. So yeah. So it's a little different. But when them years start kicking in and you get in them double digits, you got to start, doing things so you can keep the excitement in your marriage.
I know one thing, with every hairstyle, I'm a new person, so you never know who you gonna get to. Sometimes your hair, like, change your hair, you feel a little different. I mean, that's right, Rika, go to them stores. Go to them stores, girl. we
So, because you got little games and stuff that you can play and stuff like that. So, just, make sure that each other is satisfied in your intimacy, and don't think it's just, it's about humping, and then you leaving your spouse unsatisfied.
Go ahead.
Okay. So you that's one of the things you definitely gotta pay attention to with intimacy. And the intimacy is, in the middle of that is time. T-I-M, time. Yeah, so you gotta have that time and spending together, because you can't just think it's just boom, I'm boom, 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 and going about your business. But when you get married, that boom, boom, boom got to change.
Okay. Yeah. Aisha, to answer your question, like, you have to find a compromise within that, because it's not about, really, when it comes down to it, it's really not about the both of you or whatever. So if y'all could find a medium where y'all, like, both of y'all being satisfied and both of y'all comfortable with it, then that's what y'all do, because you want to make sure that both parties are satisfied, if you understand what I'm saying, in that, and both parties are very comfortable. Because if I'm not comfortable doing something, it's going to be very hard for me to be into it or like mentally be there, because you have to mentally be there when it comes to being sexual. Like, because if not, it's just like you just a body laying there and there's no need for that person to be on top of you. You will be looking like Celie and Mr. on The Color Purple when she just was laying there and he been on top. And you don't want that. You don't want your partner to feel like I'm just here. So just find a great medium with that, and compromise in that area. Like, how far can we go with this or whatever else like that. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
If that hopefully that helped you what I just said.
But yeah, it definitely gotta be comfortable. You don't want to be where you kind of forcing the other to do stuff because you feel like, well, you my wife or you my husband, so you supposed to do this. But in other words, you want them to feel comfortable, because the emotion is different when it's forced. You know what I'm saying?
It truly
like,
is. It truly is.
Even when it comes to sex, like if you want it, and then the other one don't really want it, and you ain't into it, it's just
you
like
just doing it just to do it, just so they can shut up. Because most of the time we do it so you can shut up and stop acting like a baby. You hear that, Pierre?
Sad.
Oh, y'all men, I'm sorry. I'm going to just have to go on this rant real quick. Y'all men can act like babies when y'all do not get it. No, you. Woo, good God.
Men. She talking to y'all out there.
No,
Facebook
y'all can
Live.
act like babies. And it's like, dude, do you not realize that we go like, I don't know. And I mean the worst attitude ever. Like, sometimes I just, like, really, sometimes I just want, like, you want to square up because, you acting like a real baby right now.
Nah. You kind of over-exaggerate, my dog. Listen.
I live with you.
Listen.
I know what I got to go through, not you. Thank you, Rika, for agreeing.
I'm reading this down and forget what I was about to say. But, I didn't forget, man. You whack up.
I don't know what you get.
I can't.
No, because you. Yeah, anybody tell you to read that? But
what you said?
I said y'all men can act like big babies at times.
When your mind then tune up, you tune up.
Well, when you tune up your wife tune up your spouse at the same time. Because like I just said, it goes back to the emotion.
You can't tune up a sleeping body. If you can, somebody please tell me.
Evidently, you've been thinking about that thing all day long. So, what you do is that you start sending stuff soon as you get that feeling. Don't wait until you be like, oh, it's late, the kids done sleep, oh, it's time to get the bang bang. Nah, I'm not with it.
Listen. But, a little side note. It's a little difference when you do have kids, like, you gotta,
Shawty,
what she said?
So go ahead.
You definitely have to get that intimacy time where you just spending time. And like I said, intimacy ain't always sex, but you just got to get that time where just you and your spouse, especially when you have kids, because sometimes you can get so involved with the kids and what's going on with them, you kind of neglect what's going on with your spouse.
You make sure you don't neglect your spouse.
So you gotta make sure that, and even sometimes when you tired, and sometimes you gotta force yourself to have that intimacy time.
If it's been a while, if it's been a while. But sometimes, like, I'ma just speak for us. This dude be like, oh, we done went such and such days. No, it didn't. And I be like, what in the world? I don't see where it went so much days. I guess because at moments, when you working, I'm not going to blame everything on working, but I'm just getting into all of this or whatever else like that. And I'm getting older. Like, my bones, in all honesty, when you turn 30 years old, your bones and stuff, it ain't the doggone same. Nothing is the same. Like, soon as you hit 30, the hour you hit 30, your bones and stuff just be like, okay, I'm just done. Your bodies be... So sometimes I be hurting because I'm doing a lot of walking back and forth as far as, like, what my job is, waitressing and stuff. So doing all that walking back and forth with like certain things, I be like dead up tired. Like I be tired, and it's not that I'm trying to neglect you, and then you come home, and then your kids mentally just drain you down because you're yelling at them, stop fighting. I got 3 boys and a girl, and my girl act like a little rough boy. So all I'm hearing is fighting, drumming, whatever else like that. And men, let me tell y'all do got a way of blocking out your children. So y'all not the one who hollering.
That ain't intimacy. We talking about intimacy.
No, but yet,
the conversation is intimacy, right?
It is, but still, y'all not the one who's hollering at the kid.
That's a different.
No.
We'll talk about that.
It's still on the same thing. Y'all not the one who hollering. So, do you think after we done holler, after we done work, after we done did all that other stuff, and you ain't tuning us up, we gonna be ready when you ready? No, that's why it's an all-day thing.
No, all the time it should take all day now.
No, it shouldn't take all day, but it's nice to know.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you read and then I'll talk.
Okay.
It threw me off. But definitely, y'all, when you have kids, set that time where you can just. What happened?
I'm laughing at Aisha.
Set that time when you can, have that time with you and your spouse. Even if you gotta find babysitters and maybe just take a night and y'all go stay someplace else, just to get that time. Especially when both are working a lot or whatever, and it's like both of us get up in the morning, want to take the kids to school, and then you go straight to work. You get off from work, then with us, our kids in activities, and then our coach activities. So it's like
you bring that up.
when we get home, it's 9 or 10 o'clock. So a lot of times you be tired, I'll be tired. So a lot of times when we see ourselves getting to that point, we be like, all right, we gotta
on a date.
Yeah, we'll go out on a date or something like that, just to keep our time together. Well,
Samaya, go ahead.
So you got to do things like that, and don't allow, everything that's going around to kind of neglect what's going on with your spouse.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought up that thing as far as like nighttime, and I always like the daytime when the kids is gone, because in my head I'm like, oh, the kid's gonna wake up, or whatever else like that.
Yeah, you can't really,
and you can't really enjoy it. You can't put your all in, because you think about the kids. Like how old is he? 5?
Yeah.
Our 5-year-old will wake up in the middle of the night and just like he'll come in our room or whatever else like that, and I'm just like, you know what? It ain't. You don't know who walking around, because my kids will get up and just walk around the house, and you never know who's walking around until you hear the noise. So you think in my head I'm into it mentally? No, I'm thinking, oh gosh, the kid's getting ready to wake up, somebody up, or whatever else like that. So in the morning, that's why I've told you plenty of times, like in the morning times or whatever, once we send them jokers off to school, we good. So if you could find that balance or that time or whenever is like really, and melatonin don't work. So that joker still will wake up.
Yeah, so you just gotta, like you say, pick that balance when you,
yes. And then kids, like my sister just said, Janetta, soon as you get ready to be intimate, and this goes for a lot of people, your kids, it's like alarm clock. Hello, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, but
time to block.
Yeah. So, you just gotta pick that time, and a lot of times it's best when they're at school. But if you at work, just say for instance, everybody may have to work, Monday through Friday, so they're at work during the day when the kids at school.
Yeah.
So they have to pick that nighttime.
Yeah.
But you gotta, do a balance or whatever. Like,
find that balance.
Like, even if your kids are like ours, they just pop up any time of the night or whatever, that's when you gotta start trying to think of maybe spending the night out someplace, seeing if somebody let them go stay with grandma for the weekend or whatever, auntie or whatever, so you can have that time. But just don't continue to go on and don't get that time where you can spend to have that intimacy time and stuff like that. So
yeah, I agree, Dennison. I agree. Like it to me should
begin at the beginning of the daytime. Yeah.
I could concentrate in the daytime. I don't know. I can't concentrate when them kids in that house. Just like our marriage retreat. Like we just had our marriage retreat last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a total different person. So now we done got home and this joker done got back in his attitude. Well, we ain't had no kids last weekend. So you got a whole different me. So now this weekend come, what do you want me to do? We got children.
I ain't commenting on that.
Why not? See,
listen,
he in his feelings, y'all. He in his feelings.
We just talk about making that time. You know what I'm saying? Like with my wife, one of the things she don't like to do is like when it's nighttime to lock our door. So I sometimes have to be forced and say, well, let's lock the door or whatever, because our kids are just, you know, especially the little one, he don't even knock. That joker just walk in the room. So we got to keep the door locked and stuff like that. So, but you got to know your kids and know how they sleep and stuff like that. But some people don't have no choice but to do it at night because of the kids work during the day.
I understand that. I do. But, I mean, just like I said, you have to find when it's available to you or whatever else like that. To me, and I feel like a lot of people feel that way too. Well, a lot of women, like it's really hard to get into it really when you got kids and you just gotta be quiet.
Yeah.
What, Joe? What you say?
So you know, I didn't know that. Dennison, he said bananas give kids a natural sleep aid.
Oh.
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
That child like
so y'all, you know what I mean, who got kids, check that out. That might help, you know what I mean, when you're dealing with your kids trying to get them to sleep or whatever. People putting some crazy stuff. Go ahead, comment.
Joe. I'm Joe. I don't know Joe.
What he say? What he say?
Thompson, I took a blue pill. It was on that peak for 3 weeks. How about?
He said what?
Thompson, how much intimacy is needed to last? I guess for the session. I don't know.
I know. But listen, y'all. When y'all do use these stuff, make sure you reading these labels and stuff, so you don't have yourself messed up and you going to work the next day and you looking funny. So make sure y'all reading all these side effects and stuff.
Shawty, you tell him why you trying to find his little sister. What? that ain't gonna work with Booker.
Yeah, but most of the time, you know, we lock the door. But if one of them up is like, and you can't even really concentrate or get into it because they at the door and he'll knock on the door till you answer.
You open the door.
Yeah, so it's just how your kids are. Some of them you can tell, hey, you better go back to bed, and they go back to bed, and you good.
It's really, I don't know. So I guess it's just really finding that balance, basically, for your intimacy. Men and women don't always think it's just about you. Make sure that you satisfying your spouse. Make sure that your spouse is feeling wanted and everything else like that. Finding little things, role playing and everything.
Yeah.
Just like somebody suggested, as far as like going to the sex store or whatever else like that. Hey, by all means, go there. Yeah. If you want to order off of Amazon or whatever, do that or whatever else like that. It's like,
well, one thing, if you're
and hold up, because I said go to hold up, because I wanted to say this. Just because we Christian don't mean we can't go to the sex store. You can, because the Bible tells us our bed is undefiled. So if you do happen to see a Christian couple in the sex store, do not judge them, okay? Because they can.
Yeah. This cut me off, but what I was about to say, sometimes you got to be careful what you using in there, because
Yeah.
sometimes you can what's the word I want to use?
What?
Where this say
Exposure.
you can open up different things, like just say your spouse in there and you starting to use some of the things without them and stuff like that. So when you do go in those stores and stuff like that, you just make sure that
in moderation, I guess.
You want to make sure that you're using it with your spouse and not not substituting your spouse for whatever you get from out the store or whatever. So make sure of that. The Bible, what she say?
Who?
The Bible ain't no.
Who?
What she say? The Bible ain't no people was gonna make us text.
He ain't know the people will make a store, but they got the store. I know God ain't want us to be stealing our doggone marriage in that part.
But and the scripture said marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled. So that's just letting you know that, you know what I mean, when you come to agreement with something. What she said?
Shayna's so stupid.
Yeah, girl, fool up. She didn't make me forget what I was going to say. God, I didn't forget what I was going to say. Shayna, you crazy, girl.
I can't. You're so stupid.
I done lost my whole train of thought. But listen, y'all, but for real, when you go in those stores and stuff like that, you make sure that you're dealing with stuff that both agree on, and it's not where you starting to pleasure yourself without your spouse and stuff like that. That's when you can open the doors for other stuff. So you got to be very careful what you decide to get out of there or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? So just be careful with that. God has shake his head at y'all niggas. Handcuffs and whoop.
I don't.
Shayna, you crazy, bro. Yes, I ain't following up here. She fooled. Shayna crazy.
Oh, gosh.
But you definitely gotta do things, you know what I mean? Like I say, y'all, in the middle of I can't even talk. Intimacy is time. You gotta spend that time, because it ain't all about the sex part, but intimacy is spending time getting to know one another, getting to know your spouse, getting to know what they like, what they desire from you, and stuff like that. So even in a sexual way, just make sure that you conversating and you knowing what's pleasing to him or her, and you're able to satisfy one another. So yeah.
Yeah. I can't even say anything else. Yeah. I got some fool up friends. But yeah, I agree everything what you said. Just make sure everything is to please one another, and it's to please one another in that area, and not just for yourself.
Yeah.
At all. Don't ever go into it thinking it's all about you and I got to get me. But it's like we got to get each other.
Yeah.
And we got to make sure that, both of us are satisfied and pleased.
Yeah.
And everything else like that. Yeah,
because especially like, before you get married, some of us, may been married, come into marriage, both versions, but we live in a time where it ain't really like that. But it's not impossible, but most of the time you done had previous sex partners, there's one or as many. The way I grew up, you know what I'm saying, it was just boom, 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 boom. So you didn't really think about,
I don't think it's taught.
Yeah, like
I don't think it's taught. Yeah. I think that is something that has to be learned.
Yeah.
I don't think it's taught. I don't think people actually sit down and teach kids, like their kids or whatever.
Like
I don't know.
Teenagers. That's when you start talking about
when So I don't think people sit down and talk about that. You talking to your kids about having sex, but you don't talk to them about, as once they start to go and say they getting ready to get married, you don't sit there and talk to them about, now this is how you do.
I mean, well, it depends. Well, it depends on what generation you grew up in. Like, I know for me, my mama ain't never talked to me about sex. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You don't have so it's something that you learn. How did you learn about just having sex? You just
you'll be honest, watching porno. That's how I learned. I learned from watching. So that right there been already wrong, because you. But that's how a lot of us learn. So we're in the age now. Like I talk to my son about sex and stuff. Not like what to do or whatever, but you know what I mean, how to, you know what I'm saying, just, you know, the birds and the bees. Like I don't know why they say birds and the bees.
I don't, because they don't go together.
My mother, my mama ain't never talked to me but none of that stuff. So I did have an aunt that kind of, you know, talk to me or whatever. But the time she been talking to me, I've been out there doing stuff. So that's another thing, parents, when your child get a certain age, I ain't talking about this is just my opinion, they 8 and 9, you talking to them about sex. I just feel like, you know, when they, well, shoot, I might need to these days and times, so I take that back.
Talk to them about certain
but you know, you talk to the level that they're at. Like I was sent 18, so as his father, I sit and I talk to him about certain things to look out for, and I'm hoping that he do save himself till he get married. I don't know, but it would be good if he do, then, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I think every parent would really want, because you don't want to be a young grandmama. So you definitely got to sit and talk with your kids about that.
Yeah, but I don't think that is being taught. So you have to teach a person, even at times with, like, most of the times with girls, even females. Like, I know back in the day, a lot of times the mom would tell a girl, don't come home pregnant. Okay, you're not telling me how not to come home pregnant or whatever else like that. So you're not teaching me. So I don't think it's been taught. Just like Sade said, it's taboo and everything else like that. It's something that is not talked about. So it's like you are teaching yourself once you get married, and you are teaching each other. Because at first it's just like, you coming from a background where it's just like, and then so now you don't get married, and it's like, I want more to this than what I'm getting. So now you have to teach that person, and then that person has to be willing to learn also. And not just, and then that's when you get out of that thing about, it's not just you, but it's about both of us.
Yeah. So just like PSA practice, Chris said, watching Sex on HBO. Y'all Lord Jesus, bro.
But that happens. Like, that's how a lot of people learn.
But that's scary.
That's not learning.
I know I learned that way, but it's like, that's crazy, because they ain't the proper way.
It's not. So taught. That way you have to learn, and that's why I said you have to teach the person, because eventually you're going to get mature enough to be like, I just don't want just to say, I want something else. It's something else that I'm missing out of this. So that way, you know what you want. You have to teach that person what you want. Like, this is how you do me. This is how you treat me. This is what I want out of it. So it don't.
Sheena, you fool up. Hey, tell him I got my shotgun ready, and that ain't happening. I got my gun ready.
So it's like, you have to teach, and then it's unfortunate that we have to teach the person once we get older and then we understand, but it's basically just like finding that medium. So so that's basically finding that medium, teaching, even if you don't know, if you don't understand what your spouse wants. So you have to teach them.
Yeah, I guess it's just take time.
It's going to take time, because it's not right off the bat. Because at first, I could say, when we first got married, I wasn't looking for no intimacy, but then after a while, it's like, I'm just feeling like it's more to this. So,
because like I say, with the pornography and stuff like that, you got to be real careful, because you watching and you seeing, I ain't gonna get into too much details, but y'all know how they do on there. So you feel like that's how it's supposed to be, and then that's how you start doing your spouse, and it's not right. So just like you say, you gotta communicate and talk about those things. Like, and sometimes it be uncomfortable, but you gotta let each other know, like, you know what I'm saying? That's the only way that is going to get better. You know what I mean? Like, just say, for instance, if he, just say he, you know, I don't know what the word, but I just say he just wow, 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 wow. I don't want to get too much, you know what I mean? But, you know what I'm saying?
But
He trying
like,
to kill you.
Yeah.
And then
like,
you
they
like,
only know one speed.
Yeah, and you like, golly, could you please slow down and stuff like that? So those stuff got to be communicated and stuff like that, because it's a part of intimacy, and it's supposed to be enjoyable.
It is. It is on both parts. So.
Yeah.
But that's what I got for the intimacy. And that is it.
Yeah. Do we got any more questions before we sign off?
What's expectation, Sade?
She talking for the spouse?
Oh, I
Sade, you talking about for the spouse?
She got the type.
Oh. Shan, I ain't dealing with you no more, girl. You fool up, man. I ain't dealing with you. Yeah, that girl crazy, man. Yeah, Lord Jesus. Y'all pray for our sister Shannon, y'all. Y'all pray for her. Yeah.
That girl a doggo fool.
But yeah, and you know, even it's one of the things is intimacy. To me, you got to get to know one another. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you how you build.
Yeah. And that is true. That is true. Abuse has no place in the bedroom. And then sometimes, but people don't know how to communicate that. Some people don't know how to communicate to say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Like I'm a trick off the street.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? No, a lot of people don't know how to communicate and say, and not say, hey, because we've been doing this so long this way.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you, communicate to you to say, I'm not feeling this no more.
Yeah. And Shawty, we are Christians, and this is a we just keep it real. What? That girl crazy. It's everybody who's
that's Pierre.
Bow y'all head. Yeah.
That Pierre told me what y'all talking about. But yeah, that's when it comes down to communication as far as that or whatever else. So because it's a learned behavior, sometimes you got to unlearn stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a learned behavior, and that's what they learn from watching certain things, and because it was never taught.
Yeah. And one thing I'm glad for our show. No doubt I live my life by the word of God, but a lot of times when you are saved, certain things that you kind of stay away from, and it leaves people in error. So by us being saved, we live our life saved. We try our best to live by the word of God, but we want to be real, you know what I'm saying, and really talk about things that people actually deal with, what people don't like to talk about. Because a lot of times you have a lot of Christians be married and they get divorced, and a lot of times it's because of intimacy and stuff like that, and they ain't really talking and
because they don't know how to bring out their freak side. Yeah, bring out your freak side.
So that's basically it. Let me see what Charlotte. Oh, she replied.
Yeah, Janetta, Christians nasty too. That's why we got baby Christians. Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all tune in. Y'all that's watching, y'all subscribe to our YouTube page.
We trying to get that running.
We trying to get our YouTube page popping. It's Marriage 101 with the Gill, y'all. So after we end this video, subscribe to our YouTube page. We got other videos on there and stuff like that. So check it out, subscribe. We would like for y'all to like it, like this live, share this live, tag somebody in this live.
Yeah.
So we'll see y'all next Monday, 5 o'clock.
See ya.
Peace.